Hey everybody, Renee here, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. You might hear some music in the background. I hope it's not too loud. It's my husband's band. He plays the first Friday of every month. He used to play every Friday night, but he has gone to first Fridays of every month in town, and they have their little group and they practice, and it's definitely old-timey, jazzy, bluesy music, so it's kind of fun, all acoustic. So I'm here because I want to show you today the paper pumpkin from March and my alternates. Okay, so we're going to go live and then I'll explain a few more things. Okay, so just a second as we go live. I do hope that the background noise is not too much. I have closed the door and everything, so I hope that's going to work. But we're going to do this March Paper Pumpkin alternates, and I'm kind of excited. I do want to tell you a little bit what we're doing. There's three of us who are getting together, and this is for everybody to think about. There's three of us that are getting together. You could do two, you could do three. I think four is too many because of how the paper pumpkins are split, but two or three, and we buy alternate months. And so my videos are going to be later now in the month because I don't get to work with the other people and get the pieces of the kit. So we each divide up the kit, and the person who purchased that kit keeps the extras. So the ink, the whatever extra is left behind, the person who ordered the paper pumpkin keeps it, and the stamp set. And a lot of times now the stamp sets are the paper pumpkin paper products go on sale for about $11. So that's great. So anyway, so this time we got 3 cards each, and that's all we got are 3 cards each. And we were able then to make our cards, and we made 2 of them together, and then we went and did our own thing with them afterwards. This was the first card, and the way it looked, these are the envelopes. They're beautiful envelopes, as you can see, which could be used also in many ways. But this card, I'm going to show you this, has front and back. And this was the front and this was the back. So both sides had an image. And of course, when that happens, you can definitely divide up that card into 2 pieces. So what we initially did, and we did this together, we went ahead and cut this to 4 by 5 1/4, and then used one of the items, and this was one of the pieces that was in there. And so we used those, and they had this piece and another piece. So this was the vellum. This is a gorgeous grape-like vellum. And we used this one and this tag that came with the paper pumpkin and designed this card. Now, at the initial, we designed this card as the entire card with the back intact. I came home and split up the back. I decided to use another old paper pumpkin. Guys, hint, hint, old paper pumpkin card base, and decided to use it and simply put this on that old card base. Remember, those old card bases from those old paper pumpkins are really handy. And so this is what I did. All right. And so you can see the extra embellishments, and these are just leaves from the new catalog. And these are the bird trinkets and dragonflies that are in the catalog presently. I think in the mini, or they might be online. I think they're on the online exclusives. And then this stamp also came from the kit. And so we simply made this card. The gems come from the mini, and those are beautiful gems that come with that lavender set. And so I added those to that card. So this becomes a beautiful card. And I still then used an old paper pumpkin. And then I still had this piece, the back half. And so what I decided to do with that back half is emboss it. And I embossed it with the new Zinnia embossing folder that is online. It's an online exclusive. And I went ahead and embossed that. And then what I did is I used, no, I could use a paper pumpkin card base that I have. They definitely have plenty of those around, but I decided to use the, I think this is lemon lime, one of the new colors that came out this year. It's a very limey color. And I decided that after embossing this, and you can use any embossing folder really for this. You could use a sky one, you could use a wood one, you could use a leaf one. There's just tons. And so all I decided to do with this is emboss this piece and simply put this on the front of this standard card base. And all of a sudden, I have got two great cards. And sometimes it's nice to make simple, easy cards. It's just nice to make those simple, easy cards sometimes. And that's what this one is. This first one, it's just adding embellishments. And this could have been anything. We're using that outgoing antique gold specialty designer paper to make this branch. And you can use any branch or any leaf there. It really doesn't matter that you might have available, maybe from an old kit. Then all I wanted to do is I took this piece that came from the kit and I simply cut it so that I would make a banner. And so I'm simply cutting that to make that banner. And what I'm going to use for vellum, I like to use two-sided tape. That seems to work best for me. And especially if it's colored, you really don't see through it, so that's nice. And I decided just to put it up here like this. Now you could put it over here like this, whatever you like, but I just decided that I would put it right here, just like that. And of course, with that double-sided tape, that Stampin' Seal is what you can use. You can go ahead and put the Stampin' Seal on there. And then what we have is this, and I can go ahead then and use dimensionals for this part. Of course, here's some fun dimensionals from a kit. That's what these are handy for. And I'm just going to put dimensionals. This came from the kit. This semicircle came from the kit. I think it's set up so that you put it this way. But I went ahead and did it the opposite way. And I used, again, one of those beautiful embellishments. Here they are. These embellishments are just great. They're adhesive back dragonflies and birds. These are great. 162743. If you don't have these, I'd get these. They are staying with us. And again, I'm using more dimensionals than I ever used to, but that's okay. And I hope that background isn't too noisy. Trying to talk over it to make sure that you hear me versus that background noise. And then I'm just going to, I stamped it with a stamp that comes from the kit. Have a beautiful birthday. And there you go. And there that is. And again, now, with me, I just love these trinkets. And I think these trinkets are especially good for this set, for this kit. So these definite trinkets really work well. Like to keep that lower. So that's where that one went. And it's just a little embellishment and needs no more than that. So part of the kit, wording part of the kit, little embellishments there. The banner from the kit, just cut, and there you go. And there is your great card. And so now from that one card, I have two cards, and they're both different. And they're both beautiful because that paper is beautiful. So that card. Now, if you want to get the cards, the card bases, all you have to do is go online, Paper Pumpkin, go to Renee Ewart if you don't have a demonstrator, and purchase what it says. You go to Paper Pumpkins and it's past and refills, and click on the past and refills, and that's how you would get that. So that those are fairly easy, but there are two cards, and sometimes you need easy cards, and those are easy cards. The next one we did, which I want to show you, which is really fun. Again, same envelope, beautiful envelopes. And again, here we're going to make two cards from that same card. So again, here, this card was set up where this was literally the other half of this card. So again, the front and back were similar. And so what I did is this is 2 1/8 inches wide. I believe that is correct from what I'm telling you. This is why I like this. Now this becomes 1 3/4 wide. That's okay. That's 1 3/4. But what I did, so this was scored normally, and then this is 1 3/4. And then what I did is I cut these at 1 inch. So I cut 3 inches off here. Okay. And once I cut 3 inches, this is what I am left with. All right. And I cut the back side so that I invert this card. Okay. So the outside becomes the inside. Then what I did, now this is from that beautiful paper that this kit is partnered with, which is Garden Meadows, and it is on the online exclusives. And I cut a piece from that. And so that's going to be your, so that piece is a 1 3/4 by 4 and by 4 and an eighth is what I made this one to go in here. So it's a little tighter. This is a little tighter. This is just 1/8 of an inch difference. And so I'm taking that. I hope you can hear some of that music. It's kind of fun in the background. It's kind of entertaining. And so I'm going to do that like that. And so this is just 1/8 of an inch difference. That's all that is. And so this is, as I said, I believe this is 1 3/4, right? So 1/8 would be 1 1/2 then, yes. So that would be 1 1/2 wide and then 4 1/8 long. So just to make sure I said that correctly. Okay, so there we go there. So we're on our way. And so then what I did is I have this piece that I'm going to Hello Spring. Now this was from the Excellent Eggs stamp set. This butterfly was from the bunny set found in the annual catalog, but this is from that Excellent Eggs in the mini catalog. And what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to glue this, oh, I should tell you that dimension. It's hard when, okay, so that is going to be 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. So this is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. I did stamp with the berry burst. I'm really getting into that berry burst. I loved Mary Merlot and I loved Rich Razzleberry, so it is typical that I would love the berry burst, actually, which I do. So there we go there. Make that straight. This is great. then this again was one of the pieces that was part of the kit that went with the card, right? And then I'm going to put that right there like that, okay? And again, I'm going to use some tape to do that because that's best for whenever you do vellum. And this colored vellum is great because you definitely don't see through that. And put that just about there like that. And then what I'm going to do, this is an element that they gave you. Two of the cards have this element. So for the 3 cards, you got 2 of these. I went ahead and colored it with garden green and then spritzed it with shimmer, which you can see. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it there. Now, what I'm going to use is I am going to use glue. Our glue is fabulous for things like this. And that's what I suggest for this. So there you go. We got that and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Oh, thank goodness it fell the right way. And then I'm going to just put that in here like that. That takes up that space beautifully. Isn't that beautiful? I thought that was a beautiful card. It does stand up very nicely, so you're not worried about that. All right. And then what I did is what you have now is here is your space. You can say Happy Easter. You can do whatever you like here and write your note. And so basically your card comes like this, and then you open it up and there is your little note and you have your beautiful scenery available so that when you open your card, when you have your card open, you can see that beautiful scenery. So I thought that was, that worked really well. Again, it's not very difficult. All right. And it created a third card, which is a second card, which is wonderful. So these are the 2 cards. All right. Now this one, we used the Pretty Peacock cardstock. We use the, I think this is the Blackberry Bliss is what this color is. And you can see the difference here between the Blackberry Bliss and our Berry Burst. Okay. And so here again, I took the back side of that card and just cut off an inch at a time. Okay. And so since this is 5.5 and these are an inch, so that would be 3 by 4.25. And I did not cut these strips at all. I just kept them at the 4.25 and cut off 3. Okay. And then once that was, then I could keep the rest of the card here. All right. Now your background pieces are, now I am going to use my dimension, my ruler here. So that's about, the white one is about 3.75. The white cardstock here is 3.75, and that should be about 4.5. So 3.75 by 4.5 is what that does look like. Yep. And so then this was that the Pretty Peacock was then 1/8 smaller. So that becomes then about 4, yeah, that becomes about 4.5, okay, by 4.5 by 3.5 is what I have there. All right. So you're just making sure that this fits nicely, which it did. All right. So then what you're going to do is we went ahead with this stamp and stamped that background in actually Pretty Peacock. Now, other people went ahead and stamped the whole card base. I just stamped the front and left the back as is, but you can stamp the whole card. I stamped it with that extra bonus stamp on the inside. Then what I do, whenever you glue strips, I glue the two ends and then the middle at the end so that I can distribute everything. I want the ends a certain way, and so then the middle will go in between, and I know it'll be correct. Again, I just use that old antique gold specialty designer paper that is going away, and just got some leaves, used again those fun embellishments right here. Here are the birds, and here's the dragonfly. This was part of their stamp set, You've Been on My Mind. So now you've seen three of the stamps that they have for you. And let's see, what else can I say about this card? I think I've told you everything so that you can rebuild it. All right. So you know that these are inch strips, and I gave you the dimension of the white and that, told you what we did. So you should be good. I did use a punch to make this the label, and the label is about a half an inch wide. I did make the label a half an inch wide, and then that looks about that it would have been it could have been the 3 3/4 long. So it could be 3 3/4 long, then you adjust your edges with a punch, and then this would be a half an inch wide. You can make that a little smaller if you like, but there is that second one. So here are these two. Isn't that fun? I thought that was fun. And then here's where you write again. You can do something here. I thought once I was going to put, if you wanted it for Easter, I could put Easter egg cut out here and then make a little saying. That can be really cute if that is what you want. I did not want another Easter card, so I just said hello spring. Since we're in spring for a while, I thought that would be a nice card. All right. So those are two of these from that one card base. So you got three different card bases. You've seen two, and now you're going to see the third one. And this one's a little more intricate. This one's a little fancier, for sure. So this was the front of it, and then you had the back side. Let me show you this. The back side was something that looked like this. From here, that would be the other half, right? And what I did is I did cut this backside into strips. Okay, and we're going to talk about that. So the front ends up to be, so what you're going to do is you're going to cut your front to 4 1/4, 4 by 5 1/4, and then you're going to be able to cut, two strips. One is going to be, the first one actually is going to be, I want to make sure I get the right one, is going to be 1 1/4. What you needed was 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then the second piece was going to be this one, which was going to be 2 by 5 1/4. So you're going to have two pieces, and then you're going to trim this, okay? And this one is going to go here, and you're going to cut a similar one right here. And I'm going to give you those specific dimensions because it wasn't, I think, I know that this is, sorry, this is 4 by 5 1/4. That's the front. Then the back is cut in series. You're going to start on the left side, and you're going to cut it to 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then you're going to cut the other bigger piece, which is this one on the back side, to, right, 2 1/2 by 5 1/4. 2 1/2 by 5 1/4. Yes. I'm pretty sure that is 2.5. Yes, 2.5. For some reason, I'm thinking it's not 2.5, it's 2 3/8. That's what's stopping me. So let me just check that. Yeah. Yes. I thought I believe this is 2.5. I believe that is 2.5. No, okay, it's 2 3/4. Okay, no, it's 2.5. This is 2.5. I'm correct. Just checking. 2.5 by 5 1/4. Yes. So this piece is going to go here at 2.5 and 5 1/4, while this other one that you cut, the first one that you cut off of the edge, was then 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. So those are those two pieces. You do not have enough to do this back side. So what I decided to do is instead, I decided to use a yellow strip. And so that's what I decided to do. And so there's a yellow strip that'll go here because there's not enough material. Yes, sorry about that on those dimensions, but that's what that is. Very good. Okay, so that's going to go there. That's going to go there. Now, what I did do is I did make backings that are 1/8 of an inch smaller. It's just 1/8 of an inch. Go to your machine, go down 1/8 of an inch, and I mean, go up 1/8 of an inch for the backing. So you'll go up 1/8 of an inch on the width and up 1/8 of an inch on the length. I did do that. You don't need to, though. All right, you really don't need to do that. I did. All right. So these are all 1/8 of an inch difference. Okay. I think I said that right. I'll put it together and then probably that'll be easier that way. So right here, this then is going to be, so this is 4 by 5 1/4. So this would be 1/8 of an inch. So this would be 4 1/8 by 5 by 5 3/8. Sorry, by 5 3/8 is what this would be, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So this would fit on there at 5 1/4, 1/8 of a difference. Woo! Woo! Making that complicated when it doesn't have to be. But so I'm going to go ahead and do that part. Oh, you need this dimension as well. Sorry. Oh, got confused there with my measurements. So the way this is done, okay, is this is a 5 1/2 by 11. This is scored at 4 1/4. Your first end piece, you're going to score at 4 1/4. Then you're going to go ahead and score this one at 7 7/8. This one at 7 7/8, and this one at 9 1/2. Okay. So again, this is going to be at 4 1/4, and this is going to be at 6. I'm making some mistakes here. 6 7/8, 6 7/8, and 9 1/2. I thought I brought my piece in and I did not bring it in. So with the dimensions, I'll put them down in the description to make sure that you all get the right measurements. I will do that, so don't worry. Let's do it that way. So we don't have to fret about that. So accordion fold, so down, up, down. So this one actually takes the full card, obviously, and this one will take some extra cardstock. This cardstock is going to be the Lemon Lolly and the Berry Burst. I was going to use the new was going to use a pinkish color, but this turned out to be so pretty that I decided that I was going to go ahead and use the lemon lolly because I really loved it. So I was real happy with this. So basically, this does take a lot of cutting. There's no doubt about that. And you want to stay for the finale because I've got a surprise with the other element that they put in here that I really, really like. So you want to stick with me. And this is going to go. This is this piece for in here. This is actually what you're going to write on. I hope you hear this song because it's pretty. There you go. Then we're going to stick this onto this piece. This is a card you've seen, I'm sure, many times, this fold in many different cards. But I think that it works really well with this card. So that's going to go there like that. And again, for this card, I will put it in the directions and in the comments so that you can definitely see the dimensions on this. There you go. There you go. And then this last, see how pretty that's going to be. Wait till you see the finale, what I did. So what happened here? Let's see. That should be that one. I think that this one is the one that I wanted, I believe. Checking out my designs. Yeah, I think I'll do this one. Gonna put the glue on this. Then you can see, okay. And again, what I'm going to do in the comments so that you know, I will put down the card base and dimensions of the cutting so that you have these pieces. And then I will go ahead and do the yellow cardstock to give you that. And I'll give you the dimensions of the 11 by 5.5 and how we scored that so that you have those. You'll just have to look on the comments. If you have questions, just ask. See how that works? That works just so beautifully. Now, I will tell you, unfortunately, I cut the piece from the actual card incorrectly. So I had to use my Garden Meadows designer paper. This was all that was actually left after cutting up that card. So it would have worked out perfectly, but it's a little off, but it won't matter at all because of what we're doing. So it'll be just fine. So far, this is what we have. What a great card. I did say that now I could put this in if I wanted to, but I wanted to put the yellow piece in here. I did have an extra, I thought, extra yellow piece, and that's what would put in there. Yeah. I think this was the piece I was looking for that would fit better. This was actually the piece that I wanted to put here. that actually matches up much, much better. And so I couldn't find it and it just fell down this hole. So not to worry. I'm just going to put it right over it because that is the piece I want. And the paper is thin, so it won't matter. And I can put it right over and you won't even be able to tell. That'll be perfect. Yeah, I like that better because that matches better. See, that works really well. So, all right. So this was the other strip that I decided to put in here. And it was more for fun and color. So that's fine. Just to have something there. Now now you won't have any more card base for sure in there, but you could maybe if you wanted to put another strip in there if you wanted to, but I just feel the yellow will be fine. It dresses it up very, very nicely. So I think that's just fine. So I think that's just fine. I think that. Okay. So now these are great. So these are the Bliss is a 2x2. Okay. So then that's an 8. So that's 1 7/8, right? By 1 7/8. And then the designer paper then becomes 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. That is my largest piece and will go in the center. Okay. And so then these ended up to be 1 5/8. So then 1/8 less is 1 4/8 on the yellow, which is a half. And then this is 1 3/8 on that. So definitely 1/8 less. Now, the way I did this, the way I wanted to do this is I'm going to put my center in first. Okay, well, actually, I'm not. I'm going to put in my ends. I always put in my ends first. And my ends go onto that first flap. All right, and that's why I wasn't totally worried about the designs as such. All right, so now the thing is I want that point. Okay, remember, it's only on half. And I want that point to actually touch the top of the card. Okay, so I put that there and I'm going to take that as far up as I can. And I'm going to go straight down that line. So my line, those tips are on that edge. All right. I'm going to do the same with the bottom one. I'm going to decide which orientation I want. Now again, this was extra designer paper. And you could go ahead, instead of using designer paper, you could just use the yellow paper and stamp. That would be great. That would be beautiful. Just stamping on it will be great. So you can do that. Then this is the yellow one, and I'm again going to put it again aligned, the points aligned with that edge and right in the center. See how beautiful that is? So fun. And again, if you're coming in on this, I will give you those measurements. I'll write those down in the comments on YouTube, and here I will add it in on the comments so that you have those. And so then that comes down again. You put the middle one in. You see how I do that? You put the middle one in, and then always you then are able to make sure that it's evenly in there. Like that, and like that. Now, in the future, I am going to put my sentiment right up here, and I'll be able to sign right there. This is where we're going with this. This is how this is going to look. All right. I love this card. I love this style. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about the other element that was given to us. It's the same wooden element, but it's of a tree. And what I took is the petal bark, and petal bark has these little flowers, bundle of 3 flowers. And I took that berry burst and I put it in there and I just stamped all over the top of that tree. And then I took my green blend, and that can be garden green. It can be pretty much any green you like here because these greens are multi-green, so it doesn't matter. And then I filled in the spaces. So that's what I did with this. I'm very pleased with the outcome. I did do the other side as well. All right. Very pleased. I went further down with the red. This is going to be my front. This is going to be my back. I did both sides. Very pleased with this. Now this is just going to go right here. There's my element. I just thought that was really cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this and put our glue on here. Again, this was an element that was given to us in the kit. And since the card is a heavier card anyway, because of the folding, adding this dimension to it doesn't overweigh the card. Okay, and so this card is thicker. This card is going to need the extra stamp on it, but I find it to be just lovely. And there you go. So this was one card cut up into 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3 pieces. Then you have the yellow backing, and I cut out 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of those. The same, these two are the same dimension. This is a separate dimension, and so is this, obviously. And then I cut, well, and I cut the cardstock base, all right? And everything is 1/8 of an inch difference. All right, so I think that is it. So these are my alternates here. Just want to show you those. I think that they are fun and do have a variety in look and give you different opportunities to give them out. All right, I can definitely see this as a birthday card. I can actually see this, believe it or not, as a Mother's Day card for a very earthy person, right? I think they will love that. I can see giving a plant or a little tree to someone and then giving this card for the spring, like a cherry tree or a little apple tree to grow in the future. I think that's kind of cool. All right, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I will put these dimensions down, okay? No problem. The rest is obvious and the rest worked out very well. Okay, well, please comment. I hope this was helpful in your crafting for your alternates. Okay. Comment, please, if you like them, if you have a specific one you enjoy. If you have questions, I can give you more specifics, okay? So I did use basically all the elements except for this extra one. I did not use that. It does come with some gems. I did not use those, by the way. Okay, bye-bye, guys.